Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. I can agree with much of what has been said this afternoon. Building a fair and sustainable economy requires change, and that change must be fair and just. It must not mean greater concentrations of wealth, but a fairer distribution. That means jobs and opportunities for local communities that often feel left behind, and it requires investment, regulation and incentives by government. But recent evidence is not encouraging. I wish this were not the case. But there is real anger in Fife about BIFAB. Keith Brown, when he was the Economy Minister, said the takeover of BIFAB by DF Barnes was a very good day for employees and assured Parliament that the firm had no intention of shedding further staff. Just 21 days later, many of those same employees lost their jobs. Weeks later, the company failed to win contracts for the fabrication of turbine jackets and floating platforms for the Murray East and Kincardine projects. Gary Smith from the GMB has spoken much sense on this. He has captured the sense of betrayal in local communities. To the working class communities in Burnt Island and Methil, he said, this doesn't look like a just transition or a green jobs revolution. Now, when mainstream renewable power were lobbying for the Nartnagoch wind farm in the outer Forth estuary, they said they would create hundreds of jobs during construction, and operation will generate significant local economic impact across the country, in particular on the east coast from Dundee to Eyemouth. They specifically lobbied for the support of working class communities on the basis that they would see a return for these communities in terms of jobs. And the former First Minister, Alex Salmond, promised that Scotland would be a Saudi Arabia of renewables manufacturing. Well, now is the crunch time for the Scottish Government to deliver on those promises to the BIFAB workers and the workers across the country to make sure we do have that just transition. I support renewables. Our record on renewables is strong. But we need to make sure we take everyone with us. And that means making sure that those communities in Fife that I have talked on get a return for that investment as well. They've got an interest in the long-term survivability and sustainability of our planet. But they need those jobs right now too. Today's debate enshrines the importance of building a fairer and more equal society while transitioning away from carbon-dependent industries. Liberal Democrats have consistently forced the pace in countering climate change threats. In government, we've got a very proud record, from nearly tripling electricity from renewables to making more than 1 million homes warmer and cheaper to heat, and securing an ambitious EU-wide agreement on tackling climate change. We delivered in the face of almost daily battles with the Conservative Party in government. And today we oppose the opening of a new front in carbon-based fuels with fracking, just like we opposed the Scottish Government's proposed subsidy for the open cast coal industry. And we oppose the SNP plans to slash air passenger duty too. And we are urging the Scottish Government to get a grip of its waste strategy, which only yesterday was heavily criticised by a report that highlighted the problem with 1 million tonnes of waste. How on earth can it be meeting our environmental obligations to send Scotland's waste to England for landfill? It shows that speeches in this chamber are insufficient to tackle climate change. It is actions that count.